I am going to spend the next minute screaming. I hate a lot of people on this board.
I guess I am a trans lesbian.
Mother, take it outside. If you want to call me sir again, I will show you a sir. Mother.
Now get out. You're not having one, dude. Hi, get out. You are trespassing now.
They've got cameras.
You are trespassing. Get out.
You should use they, them pronouns.
And what if I don't? What if I don't?
If you don't, I would consider that disrespectful, and that's actually an act of violence to intentionally misgender someone.
Welcome back to my channel and back to another video. Now, hopefully I'm not too far from you guys. I know usually the camera's up closer to me. However, I have been having some microphone issues with one of my wires. It keeps creating static. So I thought maybe it's happening because I'm holding the microphone too much. So now I have my microphone on a steady table right in front of me. And hopefully this clears up the issue because that microphone was not cheap. So as you guys saw from the intro, we're going to be talking and discussing this epidemic that seems to keep happening all across the nation, which is trans identifying men, which are men who identify as women, blowing up at people in public because they're being misgendered. And the entitlement. That's pretty much my takeaway, is the entitlement of people who feel that if you don't see them as they see themselves and you accidentally call she a he, all bets are off. Because misgendering is not considered violence. You heard right.
What gender do you think you are?
Well, I'm a male.
Okay, well, I think you're a woman.
No, legally I'm a male. It says on my driver's license that I'm a male.
What if I say I don't believe you?
It doesn't matter.
What gender do you think I am?
I would assume you're female.
See, you're making assumptions.
Yes.
I identify as non-binary.
Respectfully, it doesn't matter.
It does matter.
Now, what pronoun should I use?
You should use they, them pronouns.
And what if I don't? What if I don't?
If you don't, I would consider that disrespectful, and that's actually an act of violence to intentionally misgender someone.
Here we come to the issue. You just said that's an act of violence. That means
Yes.
it's an actionable offense. That means it's a crime. We have no idea how many pronouns there are. We can never know how many pronouns there are. And to not use a proper pronoun
You could ask.
is an act of violence against them. Did you ask my pronouns before you sat down?
No, I didn't ask your pronouns.
You just talked about me being privileged. You understand? No one goes around asking pronouns before they speak with people.
Recently, a video went viral a couple of weeks ago of a person who was on a Netflix show called, I forgot what it's called, but they're an actor and they are a trans identifying man, and they were at the Delta, I guess, checkout counter, and the checkout clerk accidentally called she a he, because I'm assuming this person still presented as a male, and things didn't go as planned. See, this person decided to post this video up on TikTok expecting support, love, cancellation of Delta and the employee, and instead the exact opposite happened when this exchange happened. Take a look.
And what about when a Delta employee misgenders you intentionally?
While he's talking, you're talking.
You just misgendered me again.
Okay,
Multiple times.
gotcha.
Both of you have.
Wasn't intentional, but if you want to take it personal, that's also.
Well, she did do it intentionally twice.
You're talking to me too.
You said she and then you said he.
You're being condescending, and if you want to continue, I have Port Authority escort you out the building right this moment. If you want to play that game with me.
Okay.
Would you like to continue 3 days before Christmas? I really don't mind.
I'm good. I'll just put this on.
I don't know about you, but that was epic. I love the fact that this very entitled person thought that putting a camera up on an employee's face and harassing them, which is what that was in my opinion, because they made a mistake, and misgendered them, that person thought, oh, I'm gonna have a moment. I'm gonna embarrass this employee and the rest of the Delta employees. I'm going to make them feel shame. They're gonna have to apologize, and they're probably gonna have to give me a refund on my ticket because I'm so upset. And instead, as you saw, the Delta employee was not to be played with. He let this person know straight up that, number one, it was not intentional. Nobody's trying to hurt your feelings. But if you wanna go there and you wanna create a scene, I can match you. How about I go get the police? How about that? How about I get the cops to come and escort you out since you want to make a scene? Since you want to play that game, I'll raise you. And what did this person do? No, I'm fine. Okay, whatever. I'm good. I'm sure you are. The best part about this, like I said, is that on TikTok, which very shocking because TikTok is trash. But on TikTok, many of the people who were reacting to this video were not on the side of this trans individual. They literally were dragging him through the mud, asking, what did you expect to happen? What were you trying to create? What were you trying to do? Why are you attention seeking? Why are you a narcissist? Why are you trying to create drama where there is no drama? Why are you walking around entitled? Why? And what did you expect us to do with this video? I mean, the backlash was so prominent that this person actually took their video down from TikTok. Yeah, that backfired. But sadly, this case isn't really isolated. This is happening across the board in all states, particularly in the liberal states, where I guess people feel more emboldened to react this way and to treat people this way because they know that they are living, I guess, in a city or a state where they're more protected. And so they have no problems, in my opinion, acting like bullies, walking around and yelling at people and screaming at people if they misgender them. And the irony is that you have these trans women who are trying to emulate what it means to be an actual biological woman. And yet when they get upset, all I see is testosterone. All I see is a man pissed off, asserting himself like he would if he was living as a man. Which goes to show that just because you put lipstick on and you wear a dress and you put some nails on, it doesn't change the fact that mentally and emotionally you are still a biological man. And your reaction, Exhibit A. Take a look at this footage. They were accidentally misgendered and they lose their ever-loving mind. Now I'm gonna try to censor this because there's F-bombs left, right, and center, and I know that some older people watch my channel as well as young people, and I don't really want to, you know, have profanity on my channel, so I'm going to be censoring it. So hopefully it doesn't take away from what you hear, but you get the gist of it. This person was not happy.
You're gonna give me my money back.
Excuse me, sir. There's a young man in here. And your wife
Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am.
I can call the police if you'd like me to. You need to settle down.
You need to settle down and mind your business, okay? Ma'am, once again, ma'am.
I said both of you.
No, you said sir. Once again, it's ma'am.
I actually said both of you guys. It was a general.
Right beforehand, you said sir.
Sir? Okay.
Mother, take it outside. If you want to call me sir again, I will show you, sir.
I apologize.
Mother.
I apologize now.
I need your corporate number because I'm going to call them and talk about how it's misgendered several times in this store.
I apologize for that.
I need your corporate number now.
I can get it for you. Like, that's not a problem.
Get it for me now.
I'm going to ask you to calm down and stop cussing.
Give me your
Stop
corporate
hitting
number.
Metro and property.
Well, I'm going to ask you for the 5th time to stop calling me a man because quite clearly I am not.
Wow. What a lady. Like, I have secondhand embarrassment when I watch videos like this because who does that? Like, what woman do you know walks into a store and begins to kick things down and act like Hercules on steroids? Please tell me. I mean, if you're trying to convey that you are a woman, that you are a lady, actions are not matching the pronouns. They're just not. This actually reminds me of a video that I saw a couple of years back where Ben Shapiro is on a panel and he's speaking, and there is a trans identifying man on the panel, and Ben Shapiro challenges the idea that just because you say you are the sex that you want to identify as doesn't mean that biologically you are that sex. Like, we can't just negate science. And I remember this trans identifying man literally threatening the life of Ben Shapiro.
Forget about the disrespect. Facts don't care about your feelings. It turns out that every chromosome, every cell in Caitlyn Jenner's body is male with the exception of some of his sperm cells. It turns out that his brain structure is male. It turns out that he still has all of his male appendages. How he feels on the inside is irrelevant to the question of his biological sex.
I don't agree with that. I'm not on that train. I'm not on that train. She wants to be called she. I'm going to call her she.
So you don't know what you're talking about. You're not educated on genetics.
Would you like to discuss the genetics? Or
Well, no,
what
no.
are your genetics? Sir?
So I'd stay away from the genetics and back to the brain scans.
You cut that out now, or you'll go home in an ambulance.
Yeah, that seems mildly inappropriate for a political discussion.
I mean, am I the only one seeing the problem here? Am I the only one seeing what coddling does? Because this is why so many of these leftists who are of the gender cult behave the way that they do, is because they have been told time and time again that your feelings are valid, that how you feel is all that matters. And if nobody follows suit with your ideas, then they are the enemy. You get to attack them. You get to fight them. You get to curse them out. You get to threaten them. And society does nothing. Because the moment you speak out and do what I'm doing, you get canceled. You get called a transphobe. You get called a hateful person. Since when does speaking about science become problematic? Since when? I've said it before, I say it again. You can identify however you want to identify. If you want to identify as a pen, go right ahead. Do you. Be a pen. But what you can't do is force other people to co-sign how you see yourself. I still have a choice in the matter, just like you have a choice in the matter of how you see yourself. And if you truly believe that you are what you say you are, then what some random person at the convenience store says shouldn't really matter. Because you know in your heart of hearts that you are a woman or a man. People behaving the way that we are watching right now are people who are insecure and people who know that they aren't actually what they say that they are, which is why they get so violent and so angry and so upset and so emotional, is because they can't deal with reality. They can't deal with people seeing them for what they actually are, and it bothers them so much. So much so that they explode and go crazy and cry and do TikTok videos in their car crying about being misgendered at the grocery store.
Right, so I just left Costco, right? I needed a piss. I was like, let me just go. Don't be scared that people are going to misgender you. What happens? I get misgendered by an old woman.
So I was just picking up my vehicle from an oil change, and the person came out of the garage and said, "What can I do for you, young lady?" And I know that this was intended to be a greeting of respect and kindness or politeness maybe, but I had this immediate like, okay, young, maybe comparatively, I'll take it. But I was like, lady, what do I do with that? Like,
I tried calling friends, nobody's picking up, so I just am gonna dump this here. Hey, I use they, them pronouns. It's so frustrating. Because then my boss spins it around as like, I'm the one who's making a scene.
It's like, how did we get here? How did we get here? How did we get to this point where we are so fixated on affirming people that we are allowing them to have space to behave like children, throwing a temper tantrum? And like you saw in the earlier video, it's gotten so far that now your words are weapons. If you misgender a person or you refuse to call a person the gender that they identify as, if it doesn't match their sex, then you are being violent. You're being violent. And as we know, violence is a crime. So that is a very slippery slope when we start using words like that's violent, because that's no different than saying what you just said is illegal. Imagine if you accidentally misgender a person or you assume their gender, they get upset and call the cops on you and you get arrested. I mean, that's where we're headed right now in this society. We are literally moving down that crazy path, which is why people like myself are speaking up about this, because if we continue to just turn around and not care about it or not address it, it's only going to fester and get worse and worse and worse. And these individuals, these narcissistic individuals, are going to continue to feel bold enough to continue to act this way because they have the okay from society. No, absolutely not. You cannot bully people into calling you a pronoun that you prefer. See, preference does not equal the rule. It just doesn't. You can prefer whatever you want to prefer, but you cannot force other people to co-sign your preferences. You just can't. Now, you can hope and wish that they do, and that's fine. But if they don't, sorry. Like, you can't claim violence, because then when real violence happens, nobody pays attention. I want you guys to watch this video, which I found to be so incredibly hilarious and ironic in so many ways. It's of a video of a very popular TikToker who is a trans-identifying man who goes around to restaurants and waits to be misgendered so that he can create a moment with his phone, correcting the staff or the waiter, whoever it is. And somebody had responded to one of his TikTok tantrums, and it was perfect. Take a look.
Dropped the food off. He called me sir twice in a row.
The guy who dropped my food off, he called me sir. That's all.
I mean, is she wrong? I mean, the crowd that is so fixated on not misgendering, not assuming, just because you see a man doesn't mean it's a man. It's funny how when these trans individuals are having their temper tantrums at restaurants and convenience stores and banks and grocery stores, they have no problem assuming the pronoun of the people that they're frustrated with. So if it's a woman, I can't believe she said this. If it's a man, I can't believe he said that. Funny, because in your anger, you're not thinking twice about asking for their preferred pronouns because you don't care, right? Because it's about you. Who cares what their pronoun is? What matters is how you made me feel. And I just found it funny that That TikToker hit it right on the head without even saying anything. She literally just repeated the exact words of this trans identifying man who's so fixated on labels but didn't care to ask the label of the person they were complaining about. Funny how that works. See, that's what we call privilege. That's what we called a spoiled brat who's used to getting their way and doesn't actually have to think about the contradictions of their own arguments because nobody's challenging them. That's why. So why? Who cares? I mean, the gender cult are the most pampered pampered group, in my opinion, than any other group. I mean, the way that people bend over backwards to affirm, and yet they still have time to complain and cry about the smallest things. It blows my mind. I thought that video was just epic because it displayed perfectly the problem with this generation. Rules for thee, but not for me. And I'm not sitting here saying that we should all be asking about pronouns or questioning how do you prefer to be addressed, because that's ridiculous, right? It's just stupid. But the point is, you can't cry and complain about being misgendered by strangers when you yourself are misgendering potentially strangers that you don't know. You're assuming their identity. You're assuming their preferred pronouns while complaining about them misgendering you when they don't know you. Anyway, guys, let me know in the comments down below what you think of this topic. How would you have handled that situation if you were the Delta employee and somebody came up to you and tried to shame you because you accidentally misgendered them or assumed their identity? Would you apologize, or would you double down on what you said and be like, and what? I know myself, I'd probably pick option B because that's just me. Obviously, right? I got this platform. I don't care what people think. I'm going to tell it like it is. If you enjoy my content, please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit my notification bell so you know when I post a brand new video. I'm available on all social media platforms under CurlyBoyChuck, on Twitter, also known as X, Instagram, and on TikTok. By the way, I'm going to be off from work the next 4 days, so I will be filming in bulk. So hopefully more videos coming the rest of the week. So definitely stay tuned and be on the lookout. Until next time, peace.